Hello, folks. Joey Leds here. You may or may not know I do not like newer country, I like older country. And you also may or may not know that I'm a huge Kenny Rogers fan. Well, last month he announced that he is retiring from music after a 57-year career in favor of more family time and time with his twins. And now, that takes a lot. And I have a lot of respect for that to stand up and say, yeah, my family comes first. But at the same time, it's kind of, disheartening as a fan. He's stayed relevant after all these years. He's, you know, made new music. He's managed to sell music, to put on great live shows after all these years. And, it's sad, but I totally get it. And what I liked about Kenny was his amazing way of storytelling through his songs. He had this way of every single song had a story behind it. And that's another thing that's unfortunately been lost in, the current country music era. But anyways, I'm probably not going to do it much justice, but I am going to sing the first Kenny Rogers song I ever heard as a thank you for everything you've done for country music and for me personally, even though you'll probably never see this. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness, till boredom overtook us and he began to speak. He said, son, I've made my life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice. So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. And then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. Then the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold 'em, and know when to fold 'em, and know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Now every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. 'Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he finished speaking, he turned back toward the window, crushed out his cigarette and faded off to sleep. Then somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even, and in his final words I found an ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold 'em, and know when to fold 'em, and know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold 'em, and know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You've got to know when to hold 'em, and know when to fold 'em, and know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.